Today we're going to do a white cake. We got a few things kind of together before we're going to start. So first of all, in our ingredients, Jaden took a shot of that earlier. We have in here our flour, baking powder, and salt. We have already in our mixing bowl, we have our butter, our sugar, our 2 eggs, and our vanilla. And then here's our 3/4 cups of milk. Now, one of the important things to make a successful cake is to make sure that your ingredients are at room temperature. So you don't want your oil to be oily, so you don't want to like melt your butter. There's a couple other things with cakes. So first we're gonna whip up our sugar and our fat and our egg and our vanilla until it's really nice and fluffy. So we're gonna pause the camera while we do that because this is very loud. So we're back. We've let this beat for about 6 minutes. Now we have to alternate our dry ingredients with our wet ingredients. So we're going to, sorry Justin, we're going to add about 1/3 of our dry ingredients. So Justin, so about 1/3.
Okay.
I'll do the first one and then I'll let you do the other ones. Okay, so it's about 1/3. And we're just, with a cake, you do kind of do all the beating at the beginning. So we're just going to let this beat until it's mixed in. Okay, it's not quite ready, but I'm just going to scrape down our sides because the flour kind of rode a little bit with the sides. You have to forgive me, I'm a little subdued today because I have a very horrible cold. So it's that time of year, I guess, here in Canada. Okay, just a couple more seconds, I think we'll do it. So we just want to beat in the ingredients so they're mixed. Now we're going to add half of our milk, which is our wet ingredients. So about half, it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, and we're going to turn it on again. And just until it mixes together. You don't want to overbeat your cake because it's not going to turn out very nice. Okay? Okay, Justin, why don't you go ahead and you add about half of the dry mixture that's left in there, and then you can shut it and you can let it beat. You don't have to open it all the way, do you? About half. You should have some dry ingredients left at the end. That's good. Okay, go ahead and turn that on and let it mix. Good. Now while it's still mixing, why don't you go ahead and pour the rest of your milk in there. Okay. All mixed, we'll add the rest of our flour, and then our cake is ready to go into muffin tins. Now normally this cake recipe would go into 2 8-inch cake pans, but like I said, we're using our cupcake tins just because it's a little bit portion controlled then, and we'll have enough for everybody, I hope. When your fingers get sucked into the beater, that would be awful. Mangled fingers on Aspiring Teen Chefs, eh? Okay, push that down. Perfect. Now, we do have to kind of hurry. There's baking powder in this, and baking powder is a very fast-acting leavening agent, so we don't want to take too much time in mixing this. Okay. Okay, go ahead and we'll pop that down again and get her started on 2 again. So this is our finished batter. So our finished mixture we're going to pop into our cupcakes. So I know some people use ice cream scoops, but I don't really have one for the right size. So I just use like a big old tablespoon, and I'm just as careful as I can be. So we want it somewhere between a half full and 3/4 full, because we don't want cupcakes, not muffins. And we're going to fill them all up to about the same. Why don't you give her a shot there, Justin? Whoops. Wow, that just about was a tragic accident. The cake mixes that you buy in the store tend to be a little bit more forgiving than homemade cake. You're better off just starting a new pocket just with a new spoonful. Okay? Good. So we've got all these, or sorry, Justin's got all these filled. Now, when I was first learning to bake, way a long time ago, my mom always taught me with a homemade cake, you drop the pan. Now, I know that my home ec teacher had a heart attack when I was in grade 7 and I did that. But it helps get out any large bubbles. And so I'm going to do that. We'll see how it turns out. She told me that my cake was never going to rise and it was going to be a terrible cake, and it turned out okay. So I'm going to do that because that's what I was taught by my mom. I know not everybody does that. So I'm going to just drop it. It just smooths out the top a little bit more and it gets out any large air bubbles. And now we're going to put it in the oven. And it says for a big cake, it takes 30 to 35 minutes. Cupcakes take a lot less time, 10, 12 minutes. So I'm going to set our timer for 10 and then we're going to check them. It may take a little bit longer and then we're going to check every 2 minutes until they're done. We don't want them overbaked because then you have dry cake. So I'm going to set that right now. Hey Justin. Hey Justin.
What?
So, what's a mummy's favorite music?
I don't know.
Rap. Waka waka. Okay, we're gonna do our icing now. Sorry, our camera guy is looking at us like we're insane. I've already pre-whipped the butter, so we just got it all nice and softened and softened and whipped. Now we're gonna add a little bit of salt. This is kind of a new craze. It's called salty buttercream. So we're just gonna take a pinch of salt. Pinch. That's it. A little bit of sea. Actually, I'm gonna add a little tiny bit more because sea salt doesn't tend to be as salty as your other table salt. Next, we have to add in our recipes up here. 2.5 cups of icing sugar. So go ahead, Justin. Here's this. I'll get you a knife for leveling. So we're going to mix in this icing sugar. Oh, you got to dig deeper than that. Got to get a full cup in there. There we go. Okay, level it off just like we've been doing. That's good enough. Because with icing, it's a little bit more of a guessing game. You want to get the right texture or a texture you like. So just add, we're going to add 2 in. And then we're going to measure a half and we'll see where we're going to go from there after the 2 are in. So back this up a little bit and then go forward because you've got a hollow spot here. So put your knife kind of in the middle, back up, then go forward.
Okay.
It's just like grading a road. Okay, so we're going to start creaming this together and see where it goes from there. Okay, so we're going to add in a little bit of our milk just while our butter and our sugar are mixing because icing sugar is very, very powdery. So I can't mix too fast or else it's going to explode all over the kitchen. So right now we're going to add in our ½ teaspoon of vanilla. And yes, I'm doing it over top because I'm pretty good at it. I've been doing it a lot of years. Okay, then what we're going to do is this is actually almost mixed. We've added in some of our milk and now we're going to add the other ½ cup of icing sugar. Add that in. You want to have enough icing sugar. I probably should have lifted up. Sorry guys. Ooh, good thing that's not very full. Okay. And we're going to get this mixing. And then we're going to add our milk. So what we did was we measured out a ¼ cup of milk in this little thing. We're probably not going to use all of it. It depends on your humidity. Flour, cornstarch, icing sugar, tapioca starch, anything that's kind of starchy, it will pick up moisture from your air. So if you live in a very moist place, you'll find that sometimes you don't need as much flour or whatever to do your baking. This is why we kind of adjust, and that's why we just add a of our wet ingredients at a time. Okay, so I'm going to turn this up high, so our cameraman's going to shut off because this thing is very noisy. This is our icing that we made. It's very light and fluffy. You can add a little bit more sugar, a little bit more milk, depending on what consistency you want. I like it a little bit light and fluffy, and so it's easy to spread, but I don't like it too thin where it kind of melts all over your cupcake. Also, this icing is not just a regular buttercream. It's a slightly salty one. It seems to be from, I was looking at some trends on the internet, and it seems to be one of the hot new things is a slightly salty buttercream. It's a sweet and salty. So I just pulled this recipe off the internet. Sorry, Mom. I know that sweet and salty things aren't supposed to be together, but this is the new thing. So we're gonna take a little taste. Justin, would you like a little taste? See how you like it.
That's very good.
All right, so we're just gonna pull our cupcakes out here in a minute, and then we'll let them cool, and we'll be back to ice them and finish up. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so our cupcakes are done, and as you can see, they turned out really nice. They're nice and fluffy, and they're very light. And I'm just finishing up icing them, and Justin's going to do the last one for us. So you just kind of smear the icing on. Now, if you want to get super fancy, you could use a piping bag with a tip on it and make it really fancy, but this is a little bit more like home cooking, so go ahead, Justin. And we have just about the perfect amount of icing. Don't be too quick. Our not muffins, our cupcakes are still a tiny bit warm, but they're not too bad. And so while we were gone, I was a little bored, and I made some sprinkly sugar, blue sprinkly sugar, and we're going to sprinkle it on half of them. Okay, drop that down there. And we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of blue sugar on it. It's just fun. You just take just regular old sugar and you put a couple of drops of food coloring in it, and to make it kind of whatever color you want. You can also mix your colors. It's actually quite fun.
You could do rainbow.
You could do rainbow, yes. And that's about it. So we're gonna get our tasters over here, and we're gonna have a taste test. So I'm almost done here. Just give me a second. Justin, can you put this over there and that over there?
Mmm, so good.
Okay. Okay, so here are our official tasters. Jeanette, Jamie, Jalen, Joe, and of course, Justin will taste, and I will taste, and I think our cameraman already had a taste. So go ahead and pick a muffin. Try them out. Oh, look at that. Everyone's going for the sprinkles. Kind of knew that was going to happen. Try them out, and then you got to tell me what you think, okay?
Hey, Jamie,
Don't forget that. That's the most important part. Look at that. Oh, they turned out good. They smell so good, too. They're very vanilla.
I love them. I love them too.
This is my response.
These are so good.
You make the best food.
Thanks. So you can see that they're nice and light and fluffy. No big air spaces. And they taste so good. So that's it for another edition of Aspiringteenchefs. Next week we'll come back, and we're having a debate in the household whether we're going to make chocolate chip or sugar cookies. Who knows? We might make both. And yeah, like and subscribe if you like our videos. And yeah, you guys have a good week. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bye.